they basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud. And they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government. And, well, I guess they're bad people. Bad people will do bad things.
I have noticed that, indeed, that bad people will do bad things, particularly when they're given a lot of power to a position they weren't elected to, and there's no oversight. They will do some bad things. But anyway, that is Elon Musk talking about the fact that people aren't fans of him because of all the damage that he's doing as he breaks the law, violates the Constitution, and that they don't like Tesla these days very much because the brand has always been sort of inextricable from him after he bought it. And so it's a great demonstration, I think, of how he's not a particularly impressive person intellectually. I mean, he's terrible on camera, he's a terrible communicator and all that. But the thought process also, like I cannot conceive of how people think of him as a genius, not only because his ideas are bad, but what you saw right there is he is now facing the fact that his reputation is taking a massive hit. And he, like Donald Trump, is obsessed with what people think about him. And he can't conceive of the fact that he's doing things that are unpopular, and that when you do that, people will dislike you. And so his weak, feeble mind has to come up with something which is, I guess they're just evil. I guess they just want to kill me. What are you talking about, dude? Nobody's trying to kill you, Jesus. So you don't have to worry about that. I know you don't have to spend time with your kid as a human shield. I know that bothers you, you have to do that. Don't worry about that. Nobody's trying to kill you. They just don't like you and they don't like the brands affiliated with you. And you shouldn't be surprised by that considering all the damage you're doing to programs they rely on. You're super wealthy, you don't need these programs, but try, if you have even a limited capacity for empathy, to imagine what if you did need these programs? What if it was your job that was cut? What if you do care about, for instance, American soft power or whatever? You might take this stuff seriously. Unfortunately, he barely has the ability to think as himself, let alone imagine what it would be like to be another person. But anyway, in that interview, he's talking with Sean Hannity. He's telling lies about how the astronauts were stranded, which again, the astronauts themselves have said they weren't actually stranded, but whatever, we're way past that conspiracy theory. So let's move on to a little bit more of him attempting to make all of us feel bad for him.
It's really come as quite a shock to me that there is this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, or the Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things.
So that's obviously just untrue. And again, if he's lying there. I think that he knows that. But if he actually believes that, then yeah, I guess it would come as a surprise to you that after doing all the terrible things you've done, that people would have a problem with you, or a problem with Tesla, which, by the way, yes, has done some harmful things. Most of them, I think, at your behest. But when you lie to people for years about, for instance, the self-driving capability of your cars, and people die as a result of that, I would classify that as a harmless thing. I don't think that's what's leading people to have a problem with Tesla these days, but I think it's important for the record just to be clear about that. But you've done plenty of damage. Again, we're not gonna relitigate all this. He knows what he did. The fact that he's so surprised by it, though, shows like either a lack of intellectual capability or a lack of imagination, I don't know. And again, the idea that because the left has more capacity for empathy, nobody can ever be enraged, that's not how people work at all. So anyway, we have more on this, but Sharon, what do you make of it?
I've told you before that I have unfortunately had an issue dealing with some malignant, narcissist, coercive controllers in my time. And so I'm a journalist, so I study, I read up on them. This is classic. A narcissist never, and I'm not diagnosing him. I don't have the degrees necessary, but I know what my gut tells me. It's classic behavior. You can offend, hurt, attack. You are on your toes attacking people. But when people point out something horrible that you've done or that you started it, oh, woe is me. I'm just so put upon. And by the way, these people like Musk and others have lied so much and have so little trust left from the rest of us. I don't know who's setting fires at Tesla. It could be something other than what it looks like. Okay. They love to say Antifa's the one who did January 6th. So I don't know what's going on here. I just know that the universe has a great balancing act. You don't even have to believe in God. You can be atheist. There's a great balancing act. You can't do but so much before things just start recalibrating. That's my experience anyway.
Yeah, look, I have no idea who's done this. I'll assume in the absence of evidence that it is the sort of people that are enraged by him, which are more likely to be Democrats or on the left. But
how kind of
we don't know for sure. Remember, the dude who blew himself up in a Cybertruck or whatever is a big Trump fan. And by the way, all last year it was like the in thing on the right to do that people who love Donald Trump decided to take pot shots at him. So their acting out doesn't always make sense necessarily. So it's not impossible, by the way. And again, as I know people are talking about this, like he's like, well, I always thought they were the party of empathy, and now they're burning cars. Can you conceive of the fact that some people, again, I'm not condoning violence or anything like that, or property damage, which is not violence, that might be how they express their empathy for the actual people that are being hurt? Like that they care more about those people than they do about hunks of steel owned by an incredibly wealthy corporation? Like maybe that's actually what empathy is, but I wouldn't expect Elon Musk to understand that. Tesla has been suffering stock price wise. Its reputation has perhaps never been as bad as it is right now. And Tesla investors are starting to push back. Not nearly enough of them, but one of the earliest, a really important investor, is now really putting some pressure on the corporation. This is Ross Gerber. He was on Sky Business Live and he said this: I think Tesla needs a new CEO. And I decided today I was gonna start saying it. And so this is the first show that I'm saying it on. It's time for somebody to run Tesla. There are too many important things Tesla's doing. So either Elon should come back to Tesla and be the CEO of Tesla and give up his other jobs, or he should focus on the government and keep doing what he's doing, but find a suitable CEO of Tesla. And Gerber has noted that Musk seems to have been directly responsible for a lot of the negative impact to Tesla's brand identity and people's feelings for it or whatever. So he goes on to say, we really identify with the cars we drive, especially in the US. And so when your brand gets tarnished like this, it's really bad. He continued, adding that he really started to become concerned as an investor when Musk bought Twitter in 2022 and didn't know it could go this far. Now, he's not the only one that's been pushing back in this way, but I don't think either of those points are unfair. Like Musk is doing damage to the brand that has an effect on the share price. This is not purely business. In the same way that Tesla's rise wasn't purely based on actual business, its fall isn't either, but they could perhaps limit some of the damage. If they were to boot him right now, imagine how the people who hate Musk would love that. They would once again have much better feelings for Tesla. And I also think it's a fair point to say, dude's got 7 jobs. What is Tesla, like the 5th most that he cares about at this point? He's earning bank being paid for a job that he is barely doing at a time when that corporation really needs an actual leader. So why isn't this bothering more of the investors, more of the board members, Sharon? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Tesla's a mess and so is he. Remember what this brand is about. It was supposed to be about a lifestyle, a futuristic kind of driving and financial windfall, okay? It benefited the environment and it benefits the people who say, you know what, we're tired of paying for gas and the like. The board is a joke at this point, and they're just kind of acting while, Elon pushes buttons or is the puppet master here. And so, it's no wonder the stock prices have dropped. Okay, this has happened before when he's put his own quirky interest ahead of the brand that he has touted and has made him so wealthy by tweeting out nonsense and getting fined. And I just think it's par for the course.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Again, it's only a few as of right now. There was another hedge fund manager that was pushing back. There's a few. And that's not to say that nobody is enjoying the current status of Tesla. And I mean the investors, not just their detractors or whatever. Some investors are actually doing quite well. Obviously the short sellers are doing quite well right about now. Apparently, hedge funds that have taken short positions on Tesla over the last 3 months are now $16.2 billion richer. And so they started to see what Elon Musk is doing and how people are turning against the company. And so they bet against the company and they have made absolute bank. And so that's great. I wish I had thought of it. That would have been nice. I didn't, unfortunately, but some people are doing quite well as Elon Musk destroys the corporation. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.